Hello, and welcome to another great episode of Talk Uncensored. I am one of your hosts, April Hogan.
And I'm Akayshia Estee. Y'all, we laughing because we just had a blooper before this. Yeah. That is why we are laughing. Mm-hmm. Thanks to our guest, Mr. Alex Banks.
Welcome, Alex. This is going to be a silly episode.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to read Alex's bio and then we're going to talk about entering. I don't want to do the tongue twister because they talked about me earlier. Entering the entertainment business, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So, you want to call your whole name out? Because you know you got your middle name on here.
Hey, do the whole government.
Oh, okay. All right. You ain't got no warrants in it.
No.
Oh, God.
They wouldn't even thought to ask until she said something.
No.
Now they're going to be looking at me.
Just kidding. I hope. Alex Dwayne Banks II is a young man who has been defying the odds since birth. He was born in Memphis, Tennessee on April 19, 1996, a city well known for birthing some of today's most successful music industry stars. A young man who was so eager early on in life to gift the world with his presence was born premature and given about a 1% chance of living. In just 13 short years on the scene, Alex has managed to work with some prominent musical icons in the industry such as Kim Burrell, Moretta? Chill out. Moretta Clark Brown, Kool and the Gang, Eric Exis, Noel Gordon. Did I say that right?
I gotta read my own bio.
You gonna read the names?
Let's go. Keep going.
Right.
Listen, y'all don't count it against her.
480 East and Cindy Bradley, to name a few. I got that one right. In December 2018, he also released a track dubbed Tell Me. Alex recorded the song to send out a positive message about mental health awareness. Alex also has been able to produce several music projects as well as most recently his debut album release of Endless Journey, sorry y'all, which is now available on iTunes and all digital platforms.
Okay, so we do have to read. So there was a time that he was a feature, and I had put it wrong on the screen. So, give me the website.
It is www.alexdbanksii.com.
AlexDBanksii.com. It will be on there, correct?
For the second.
Oh, for the second.
I don't know. What was on there?
It just without the II.
Oh.
It didn't have the II.
You sure went to alexbanks.com?
I think it was AlexDBanks.com. I don't think it had II. I didn't mess it up that bad. I didn't.
She was just kidding. It was, yeah.
But in my defense, nobody sent that over to me either.
She is lying. Well, can we start?
So,
all right, y'all.
So before we get into the topic, tell us about what you got going on. Like, you got any upcoming events, upcoming projects, things that you're working on?
Right now, I am doing more so private events right now. There should be a couple live performances coming soon. I don't want to speak too soon about it, but they should be coming pretty soon. So, look out on my Facebook page at Alex D Banks II, or my Instagram at Alex D Banks II. And guess what? You can go Twitter at the same thing.
Alex D Banks II.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely. So I do want to ask, this album that you just dropped recently. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite song?
Okay, all right. So when I was recording, like in the process, I would have told you, "Can't Let It Go." Okay. But it's slowly shifting to It's Personal.
Okay. I actually really like It's Personal.
I think I like playing or performing It's Personal live. So. Mm-hmm. I think that's why it's becoming my favorite. But I would have told you Can't Let It Go at first.
So I'm curious. And I'm sorry, then I'm going to stop. I'm curious. What is generally your inspiration when you are... Because you write all your own music. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is generally your inspiration? Or where do you get your inspiration from? Even if it's not anything specific, because it could be a couple different things depending on the song. Where do you kind of draw your inspiration?
The short answer is life. I think like things that I go through. I think about like melodies that would like kind of portray what my life is. I like the reason why like the title is called Endless Journey is because I feel like music is a never-ending journey that continues. So like for me to display that, you go through different cycles. If you go through, the times you want to cha-cha a little bit, to the times you just want to be like on chill, to the times you be like, I think I want to do a little clubbing type. Yeah, so it's like, I think this album really encumbers the ups and downs of life, in the musical world. Okay. But in a smooth jazz perspective. Yeah.
So I'm curious though. So when you write, do you generally like freestyle first and then write it down, or do you write the notes and then play and see what it sounds like?
I usually go for like the taglines, and what I mean by taglines is the same thing as our chorus.
Okay.
So I come up with that melody first.
Okay.
And then it really just depends. Sometimes I kind of freestyle the verses. Like if I'm feeling good in the studio that day, I'm just gonna run it.
So you can write the notes and know what it sounds like before you play it?
I won't even have to write the notes. Like I hear the melody in my head before I play it.
Got you.
Yeah, and me knowing, the format of music, so if I play, a technical verse one time, I'm gonna know I have to play it again a second time with just a little more, riffs and runs.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, if I'm listening to the track, over and over again, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm playing here, and then I have like my chorus is pre-recorded, like a rough draft. So if it flows directly into the chorus, I know it's, it's a fit for the song.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask, and I know I said last question.
No, you did.
This because
last question number 5.
I want you guys to understand who we got here, right? So you also, other than just playing and doing your own music, you also teach. So tell us a little bit about that.
Man, okay. So I teach saxophone, piano, drums, music production, and now I'm teaching writing.
Shout out to AUV.
So that's the whole thing in itself. It's kind of funny because I kind of jumped in and learned on the fly, or what they call it, on the fly learning, on the fly training. It's exactly what I did. Like I played keys for my enjoyment, just a little thing at nighttime when I'm ready to go to sleep, and then my homeboy, Mr. Mario Maitland, he was like, yeah, I need a piano instructor. So yeah, you start Monday. It's like, I do what? So yeah, but I mean, over the time of me teaching, everything that I do teach has actually developed me into, the instrumentalist I am today. Because I've had to really hone in on my craft to teach it. So,
right. Okay. So man of many talents.
Yeah.
Many things going on. So if you need lessons in any of those instruments, or he even said writing, producing,
come see me.
Y'all know who to see, right? Y'all know who to see. So I'm gonna let Mr. Estee take us into the topic, into today's first topic.
I'm gonna act like April. What's our topic again? No, just kidding.
Actually, so, today.
Yeah, entering into the entertainment business. So, how did you enter into the entertainment business? What sparked that?
Man, I really wish I had these questions beforehand. I'm like,
she's gonna answer too.
Yeah.
And she don't like answering questions.
So, what inspired me to enter into the entertainment business? So we'll go back to circa day 2012.
His dramatics, that's what inspired him.
2012.
2012.
I was a young kid, just learning how to play sax.
I was graduated in 2012.
Don't tell your age like that.
Look, I'm proud of my wise wisdom age.
It's wise.
Very. I was just fine. Yeah, so I played in church, and I did the whole thing. I did the crowds, and was like, I'm really terrible at this. Yeah, so I always joke about it, like, oh yeah, when you first started, we didn't think this is what you were supposed to be doing. So but I wanted to showcase my talent in a different way, not just play at church. I wanted to have a production, you know. So I gathered all the youth of the church or whatever, and we had like a little talent show. And but like the main act was your boy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you have to be in the forefront.
Yeah, like so you know after all the little opening artists, they're not little, you know they weren't little. Like, they did.
You said what you said, y'all. Back then, y'all was little.
You know, so I had my the debut, and I did. It was a Christmas concert too, so we did like Christmas songs. So I did a track like probably like 8 or 9 selections. And,
he was doing selections back then.
Yeah, it wasn't A and B. It was you know. So I did like 8 or 9 selections, and I liked the response I got from the crowd. It like fueled me. It was like, oh, they actually like this. You know? Right. And then from there, I just kind of carried it on, and then as I developed as a performer, I was like, I can really just take this thing and actually do it professionally.
So why
hold on. Can you tell the kids it took practice?
Yeah, man, let me tell you.
Yes.
It took practice.
Dedication.
More practice. And practice. And practice. I'll tell you a story. Like, my mom used to sit, like, with me how we're sitting right now. And I would have to practice. Like, we would start at, like, 6 p.m. after I did my homework. And I got to play outside a little bit, you know. At 6 p.m. and like she would pick a song, I would have to learn it, and I would play it over and over again until she liked it.
Shout out to the moms.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes she didn't like it until 10, 11 o'clock. So sometimes it was early, and sometimes it was later. It just depended on how she was feeling that day. If she had a bad day, we were going to about 11:30. You know.
She wanted to hear music to
the real Joe.
But I mean, back then I hated it. I was like, I don't want to practice. I'm not practicing. Boom. But I come to appreciate it now.
I bet you do.
Probably more than I can put in words.
So there's reasons why, when you have parents that push you, there's a reason why you are pushed.
Because they see the vision.
Absolutely. Yeah. They see who you can be even when you don't see it. So, my husband played the saxophone for a year in 6th grade, I think. But his reasoning is because the girls liked it. But no. One reason was because he wanted to go on a trip to a music park, I think. Disney World or something.
The first reason.
And the other reason was because the girls liked it. So you tell me, he clearly didn't stick with it, but you tell me why saxophone for you?
Because girls liked it.
My mom actually wanted to play the saxophone, and she couldn't afford it at the time. And then, I was in elementary school. All elementary school stories. And the middle school band came and did a performance, and it was a guy on the saxophone. He was like, "Yeah, he just killed it." I'm like, "That's gonna be me. Like, I'm gonna be the one to take the solo. I'm gonna kill it, and they gonna talk about me the way they talked about him." You know? So, I did that, and of course, my mom let me play football. So it was either saxophone or football.
So why not football?
The reason why my mom would not let me play football is because she did not want me to get hurt and then have an injury that lasts throughout my life.
Okay, Avion. So I just want you to understand why I won't let you play. You hear it from another person.
That's the politically correct answer.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Politically correct.
Yeah, politically correct.
So she tries to get out of the question.
I knew she was coming.
I was waiting for you to just do it yourself, but
I was about to. You didn't even let me.
She paused and looked at me a little bit. So what made you answer?
What made me answer? So he talked about his things in middle school. I started in middle school too.
Okay.
I wanted to start in elementary school, but I was too shy. I wanted to do the 5th grade talent show, and I didn't. Me and McKinley was in 4th and 5th grade together. So I think he ended up doing the talent show, and I was like, I freaked out. And I was like, I'm not trying out. I'm not doing it. Everybody's like, oh no, you can dance. Scratch that, y'all crazy. I'm not getting up there. That's probably my introvert and my shyness. So by the time I got in 6th grade, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I want to get in the talent show. Everybody keep telling me I can dance, so I'm getting, let me do my thing. can't even. I think the songs was like Juvenile.
99 and 2000.
Yeah, Game Over by Lil Flip, and it was something else. First of all, I'm gonna let y'all know. My music was edited. My daddy made sure my music was edited. Oh, it was slow motion for me. Slow.
So Katie from Decatur.
Yes. No, but my daddy edited everything. So did the talent show, and it wasn't like no competition thing. But if it was a competition, basically, I would have won. I definitely would have won. And it was like, okay, when I walked off stage, the people, you supposed to be sitting down. Everybody bum rushed me because they was like, I didn't know you can dance like that. And I was like, shoot, I didn't either. But, so then it went from there, and I started a dance group called Bama Girls, all the way up through, I think this is where Joe Jackson kicked in, which y'all called me, all the way through, I think from the age 12 to 15, I had a group called Bama Girls, and then we went to different high schools, so that kind of like split us off. And I started I would just get different groups together for talent shows all the way up until I never won in the talent shows, placed in a talent show with groups until I was solo. Mm-hmm. So my 12th grade year, I did a solo, and I got second place. Everyone was like, I should have got first place. Yeah, everyone said I should have got first place, but I got second place. So that was the only time I ended up placing when I did it by myself. Everybody was like, you don't need no group, but I always wanted to teach. Yeah. Everybody wanted to dance, I always wanted to teach. So I was always interested in teaching. So fast forward, my dad was my manager for the dance group. My mom and my dad, and even my stepmom, they always backed me when it came to dance. So I did a little bit of traveling, and he made sure that I was getting booked places. I did a little bit of music too.
Y'all gotta show the music video.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
I'm gonna attach one of them.
No, we don't.
Onto the episode, y'all. Stay tuned to the end.
Maybe that could be a commercial.
It could be.
But yes, I did do music for a little bit. And I always would feed off of the crowd. And I always wanted to give a show. So my shows were always at least 12 minutes long. Mm-hmm. So I made sure my dancers could breathe from start to finish, because it wasn't never no light dancing. And I made sure I can breathe from start to finish. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And every time I try to stop or quit, I get all this anxiety and I can't stop. So it's with me forever. And my dad and them had a group, actual singing group back in the day. They were on Apollo. Okay. They did different things like that throughout New York and stuff like that. So it just passed on. They say I get my dancing from my daddy, but I have never seen him snap on beat.
Maybe it's maybe Kaden will catch it. I have confidence in him.
My poor child cannot catch a beat, y'all. Pray for him. He be.
Don't do him like that. One day he's gonna watch. He's gonna watch.
And he know he gonna snap like that, and he know I'm telling the truth. That's how I got into it.
So I actually, and I don't know if you knew, I think I told you, I used to have a singing group in high school.
Hit up, no. Let me.
I was so ready.
So we used to have a singing group. I don't know why my mother allowed us to name it this.
What was it called?
Pleasure. It was called, but it wasn't PLEASURE. It was PLE'Apostrophe-HZA. Pleasure. It's pleasure. It was 4 of us. We started as a church group. Yeah. Hallelujah. Pleasure for the Lord. We started as a
I'm weak.
I don't think we named it Pleasure until after the fact.
We got pleasure singing Fall in Love with Jesus.
We had was pleasure for the Lord. Pleasure.
We got pleasure coming on up here today.
I don't think we were called that until after the fact. But anyway, so we used to have a singing group. We ended up signing with Uwe Collins, which is Bootsy Collins' son. Mm-hmm. And our biggest thing, so I never followed through with it. Business is my passion. my daughter loves music, so I love the fact that she does it, and I like to write. So I have the creative side as far as like writing.
You can write really well.
Yeah, writing, whether it's poetry, whether it's movies, whether it's songs, any of that. Nowadays, I say I'm more of a background singer. Like, I can background sing. So
I already told you I haven't sung nothing in years. So
yeah, I do.
You be singing?
Yeah, can you sing?
A little bit.
No, what's a little bit? Like you could go on an album and sing, like a Drake sing, or like a better than.
No. I mean, like I am a true baritone.
Okay.
Baritone. So I know my range. I know what I'm comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do that when we get off stage.
Gotcha. No, you're right. You're
you know, I ain't gonna hit you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna Luther Vandross or you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna do none of that. But we, you
gonna leave it to the sex.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
hit all the notes.
You know. I mean, I'll hit all the notes singing too. Don't do that.
Oh, first of all, hold on, wait a minute.
He said don't do that.
Because we still gotta watch your video with auto-tune.
See you coming for her. You know, I'm actually happy you came for her. Because last week she called me corny. And I still kind of way I say. I still kind of
wait a minute. This is not. They are attacking me.
I mean, y'all remember she called me corny last time for no reason. Just because I said I wasn't popular when I was growing up. She said you were corny. The audacity, like
it was a question.
But out of me not being popular, how did she get corny? I could have been a nerd, a geek, anything. Corny. And then she stuck with it. Even when I was explaining that I wasn't corny.
Corny is cool.
Because I clearly got offended. I said corny.
Corny is cool.
She said, yeah, corny. You're corny. And stuck with it.
I think I said, I'm corny too.
She did. She said, no, I was a nerd. I said, well, I was a nerd. But no, I wasn't a nerd. I was corny.
That's
So, y'all, I do want to ask you guys, and then we'll go back into the entertainment piece. Have y'all been seeing these Genuine videos?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know what to feel about it.
Same OG.
Okay, so it was that one. There was another one he got.
We turned around and did the little split thing in the air.
Did you see the one where he did the bath and then he said backgrounds?
I'm like, yeah, just let it go.
And it's so sad when you see like Usher did a 25-year photo of his My Way, I think it was, and now, and it don't barely look no different. You can tell the maturity, but then you see poor Genuine.
You see the wink.
I know. But I wonder who's telling him it's okay. Or is he doing it just for...
I mean, I feel like at this point...
They said something on the Shade Room. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
He's taking it so serious.
I think
no cyberbullying.
No. I mean, I think at this point, he understands, what response is getting. So it's like, hey, let's keep that response because I trend that way.
Yeah.
That means people looking up his music.
Yeah,
so.
That's
they gonna try, you know what I'm saying? They gonna hit the same song and try to do the same moves.
Yeah, because they're doing the whole TikTok.
It could be a whole little marketing scheme. We're just gonna say it's that so that we,
I'm trying to remember. Could he really dance before? I don't know if he was really known for dancing.
I just thought he was
known
for his looks.
That's what he could move. He had rhythm, but I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't remember seeing him as a dancer.
I was little.
What?
A little shot, but it's okay.
What?
April, how old were you when Genuine was?
I don't remember. He's older than me though.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying I was little.
Okay, so I told y'all.
So I can't lately, but I knew Usher was a dancer.
Every show.
I knew Usher was a dancer though. It's 7 o'clock.
Show.
Everybody knew what time it was when Usher came on. 7 o'clock, baby. Okay. Back to entertainment.
Yeah, let's go back to entertainment. I'm just gonna be quiet.
You know what? How about we take a break?
We're gonna take a few minutes break because I'm in my feelings. So we will see you.
Man, I wish we had DJ Ari. That would be great, so we could play in my feelings by Drake.
Well, otherwise, but if we do, then they gonna mute it.
Well, I mean, you could at least, do a little
the remix.
Okay, so when we get back, we're both going back to Akayshia instead of me. So we'll see you after these messages. Welcome back to Talk Uncensored. I am your host, April Hogan.
And I'm Akayshia, Estee. And of course, we have
our special guest, Alex D. Banks.
I. We did not plan that. I swear to God.
We did. I know we have that telepathy going. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, Alex, what do you think about the entertainment industry now? Like, with everything that's going on?
I think it's interesting. Reason being is because like it's evolved from like physically handing out copies to people, or like CDs in stores, so like digital streaming, and digital streaming has its ups and downs. The good part about it is once you make something and it's out on iTunes or Amazon or Spotify or the streaming platforms, is you can continually get paid for it rather than after I hand you a CD, after I get the $15 or $20 from you, that's it. Mm-hmm. It's a continuous thing. And so, I think that's an interesting aspect to me. I think the downside of streaming is the amount you get per stream. So I think that makes it a little more difficult to accumulate money. I think that's why you see a lot of like artists now coming out of COVID are selling their masters because their catalog is worth a lot. That they can accumulate over a period of time. Mm. But they're like, well, we just went through a drought of like not touring and things of that nature, so we need the cash right now, to get us back to the place we were before COVID. So I think it's an interesting thing. I think labels are slowly diminishing.
Think so?
I do, because I think artists are realizing that it's a loan and not a
right,
and not a
gift.
Gift.
Hey, I made it.
Yeah. It's like hey, yeah. So and they're hearing stories about other artists and how they got a $500,000 loan from the label, and they've made the label billions of dollars, but somehow they're still in millions of dollars of debt, and now they're trying to pay the label back and still survive off the same thing. Or it's a continuous cycle because the way you have to pay the label off again is to get another loan,
right? Yeah.
To fund you. So they're they're kind of getting away from like, oh, I think I can just do the independent route, but then you have the independent route is a lot of money invested up front.
Right, yeah.
That a lot of artists may or may not have, or have to go through different things to do what they need to do to fund their career.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what about like the selection of music that's out there? How do you feel about that? Or at least not even just what's out there, because there's a lot of stuff out there. What about what's more popular, like what's trending?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not for me. Say it's not for me. I grew up in like in the rap era of like Lil Wayne, and all those guys. So to hear about NBA YoungBoy, I just found out who he is. And I think the first one I found out about was like Lil Baby. So I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a bunch of babies.
It's a lot of babies, a lot of youngins, a lot of
So, I get them all. I'm sorry, I get all y'all mixed up.
Yeah. My daughter tells me a different name every other day, and I'm like,
yeah. And then so I'm just gonna say it's not my taste. Obviously they fit somebody because they're popular. They have a crowd base. Mm-hmm. Just not my cup of tea.
What about you?
So I like the new Beyonce album. Yeah. Shout out to the Cuzzo who got them writing credits on Virgo's Groove. Yes. But no, I agree with you on the they rappers, right?
Yes. Those ones are.
I don't know what they be talking about, and I can't relate to it. So I'm more on the neo soul. Now I got my wretched side. I listen to Cardi B. I listen to Meg, but it's not like an everyday type of. I have to listen to them. I just cannot do it.
I think the real difference for real is like a lot of these rappers that are rapping about like what they rap about, they didn't go through.
They didn't.
But like back in the day, they actually went through that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
you know, some of them.
Some of them. You know what I'm saying? Majority. We can say majority. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Lil Boosie talking about murdering somebody. You know, not saying he did it allegedly. You know, but you know.
Well, some of them like are like doing stuff now that they are. But it's like you made it, and now you're trying to like live up to what you're.
But I feel like that's because to get on, you know, they had to rap about things, and people were like, you know, like for instance, when they're doing like what's it called? Coachella, or was it Coachella? Maybe not. It was a festival. Like people were throwing stuff at the artists.
These were what artists were these?
It was like what's that man's name? I can't think about it.
Because I watched some on Netflix called Woodstock, and that was crazy.
Kid Cudi was performing.
Oh, okay.
And like they booed him off stage and threw stuff at him. He was like, "I walk off," you know. No. But like, I think part of that are fans are realizing like the bluff, and they're like, "Oh, like the studio side of them wasn't, you know, didn't live up to the live side of them." But I think that goes for like the music lyrics too. It's like, you know, oh, you rap about this and the third, but you know, you didn't do any of that, you know.
But I think too on that part of it is the people or the younger crowd don't realize it's entertainment.
Yeah.
It's an act.
That's what it's supposed to be.
They're performing. They're actually actors.
Like
and
you're not
actresses.
gonna go and see Chris Hemsworth pick up a hammer and get electricity. Is that his name?
Who are you talking about?
Thor.
Oh.
You're not gonna see. If you would have let me finish my analogy.
I mean, but you said Chris Hemsworth.
That's his real name. This is his real name.
I mean,
so it's like his persona is Thor. So I'm saying you're not gonna go and see the real guy pick up a hammer and electricity come out of it because it's entertainment. So I was just comparing it.
Yeah. I just think
when I thought about hammer, I thought about like an actual like hammer. But you're talking about like the Thor hammer. It's different.
He's let me finish.
I mean, I was like, what hammer is pounding electricity out of it?
So you guys, outside of the show, we're actually friends.
I was like, I was trying to think. You lost me there.
If it sounds like I'm being rude to him or he's being rude to me, we're not.
So weak.
I'm weak.
So both of you guys, but since you guys are still in it, newcomers. People who want to get into the industry, whether it's younger people or even older people who want to get into the industry. What is your advice or what can you give them to kind of help them along in their journey?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So, tip number 1. Wherever you are...
Was I supposed to put up with 1?
Okay, let's do it.
Do it again. Tip number 1. So... Whatever it is that you do, whether it's singing, doing a musical instrument, dance, model.
The group called Pleasure.
Yeah, voiceovers. Whatever it is that you do, the first thing you either do is study it and make sure you stay up on it. That is like really major because times change and you need to stay up on your stuff. Secondly, invest in yourself. Stop looking for handouts. I think that's a big one. Everybody is out here looking for handouts and they don't want to do the work, and that you don't want to make sure you good on your end for somebody else to want to make sure you good on their end and your end for you to for both ends to benefit. What else?
That's good. We're gonna do 3 when we out. 3 is persistency. No matter what happens, stay consistent and persistent through whatever happens in your musical journey, because it's not always going to be roses and peaches and cream, but on the end of persistency is greatness.
Right, because people take you serious.
Yeah.
So, and I want to point out the difference for those who don't know the difference between consistent and persistent, right? So, consistent is important because you need to continue to don't stop, keep going.
Practice.
Right. But persistent is to persevere. Like through the
no
obstacle, even through the piece that may not seem so easy, you have to be persistent. You got to strive to get through whatever those obstacles are. So yes, consistency is going to work, but if you need the persistence.
Persistent.
Yes.
Through whatever.
As well.
Anything and everything.
So we're going to take another break. And when we get back, we're going to move into our next topic, which is gender roles, which is awesome because we have a guy here to have this conversation with.
So and he's just got to hear us.
He's a pretty strong-willed guy, if I can say so myself. So it's going to be interesting. So we'll see you after these messages.
Tuning in to Talk Uncensored every other Wednesday, 12 Central. I'm your host, Akayshia Estee.
I'm April Hogan.
And I'm DJ Ari.
And you can tune in on Instagram. You can tune in on Facebook. You can tune in on YouTube. And soon we will be on Roku TV.
All right, guys. We're back on Talk Uncensored. And I just took over the show. So I hope you guys are enjoying it this far. And the next topic we're going...
You got it. Wait.
No, let him go.
He's supposed to introduce himself.
Let him go.
Okay.
The next topic that we're going to discuss is gender roles. And we have our lovely guest here, Akayshia Estee and April Hogan. And this is your host, Alex Banks.
Oh my God!
So I'm going to let them go ahead and just start off with questions that they have, prepared, because I know they have a lot of questions. So we're just gonna drive right up into it, and we're gonna get real rough. Let's do it.
Rough. I'm about to go take our pictures down. That's not even our show no more.
I know, right? It's a movie.
right. So it's lovely to have Alex here. So gender roles. So we know growing up, even before our time, there are specific roles that people perceive to be males' roles and females' roles. So we're gonna talk about that in a couple different ways. Because of course, we have households where male and female. We have households where there's female, female. And we have households where there's male and male. So now we got to look at it in a whole bunch of different ways anyway. Mm-hmm. So first, just your opinions. Do you feel like there is a specific role, or can each role do any and everything? We're going to start there because this is going to lead us into some conversations with.
I think that comes with a percentage, in my opinion. I think some of the things can be shared and some of them can't, especially like if it comes to like kids that are involved, like there's a daughter involved, there's only certain things I can show a daughter, and there's only certain things like a man can show a son. So I think there are certain things that you just kind of, hey, you take on that because that's this type of situation. And you take on this because this is that type of situation.
So how do you feel about when it comes to like cleaning, working?
I think that's a mixture. Okay. I know that's a mixture. Okay. It has to be balanced out. Okay.
I really thought we were just going to say like how we felt and then leave it alone. But I guess we'll get just jump right in. It's cool. All right.
Because when she said it was kind of mixed, it's hard to say on what perspectives.
I get it. I'm gonna say no.
There are no gender roles.
There are no gender roles, and I will explain in further detail in the next question.
Okay. Well, I guess yours is cut and dry. So I'm gonna say, in a perfect world, sometimes I would love gender roles. Sometimes. Do I ever feel like I can conform to a gender role? No. I am generally the cook in the house. So, I mean, my husband will cook. He doesn't do it very well. And when he does do it well, it takes a very long time. So, generally, I'm the cook. But I will say, like, trash. I'm not taking out the trash. That's going to be him or my son. I really prefer not to have my daughters. Now, will they if there's no other choice? Yeah. If it's there and I want it out, yes. But generally, I don't, So I feel like it's kind of mixed, kind of like you say, just depending on what it is. I don't feel like there's an overall because I feel like whatever takes care of the household takes care of the household. So if I have to work and he has to work, then we both have to work to make it happen. Mm-hmm. If we're in a position where he's making so much that I don't have to, then you know what? I'll accept. I mean, I will never stop working because I'm a hustler, but to an extent, I would be okay with, so I don't, but then you got to think on the flip side, would I be okay saying I'm going to work and you full time? I don't know if I would. So that's why I say mine is kind of mixed. Depending on.
You brought up a good point about if he man enough to, support both you guys and, country lifestyle. I feel like one thing that, the generation before us never really discussed was the form of control
My bad, y'all.
Yeah, it was the form of control that they had over their significant other. Whether it was stay at home, you know, we always talk about the stay at home mom, you know, but there were stay at home dads too. Mm-hmm. But the other one had the control. It was not really a discussion on like, hey, what are we going to do about this bill? Or how are we going to spend this money? It was more, no, you ain't working. And it's my money, and I am going to do this, and you're going to have to be okay with it.
Well, and that depends, because I actually lived in a household growing up that my stepdad was the money, but my mother was the one that was good with the money. No. So she controlled making sure bills were taken care of and all, whatever. But he made it. Mm-hmm. So it's still kind of, I don't know. But then in that, when he started his business, she was the one who helped, like, get it going. Yeah. And, you know, so it's like.
I mean, but I think it takes a special woman to accept the gender role. Mm-hmm. Like, because if you're going to accept the gender role, then it's like you have to completely accept it and what comes with it from your significant other.
So, and that would be difficult, like, depending on what is expected.
Yeah, like
because like
it's different.
Yeah, everybody's household is different.
Yeah, it is different. And then like because like my thing is, granted, if he makes enough that he can work, he's like, hey, I just want you to be at home. Now again, me, even in that sense, I'm probably gonna still bring in income because I own my own business, so I always find a way to have something come in. But if it was that situation, yeah, I'd have to be okay with, you know, I make sure he's always fed, everything's always clean, and not really necessarily expecting, you know, a certain level of effort from him, I guess, at home. But then question comes into, so my previous marriage, I was the provider. Now, did he work? Yes. But I was the provider. Mm-hmm. So I was the one who had all the money, was paying everything. Mm-hmm. But then, and I worked 12 or more hour days. I worked for myself, but I still was at the office. I was 45 minutes away at the office. I come home, you just worked your regulated hours, and food's not cooked. Now, granted,
come home.
Yeah, you still worked, but you could stop working basically because it's my income that's covering it. So, does it switch in that standpoint?
Theoretically, yeah, but practically, hell no.
Right, and
I'm confused. Hold on. Because if I'm working 12 hours and I came home later, I'm going to want some food.
Yeah, well, that's
because I'm just saying in general. And I don't want to come home and at least picked up something or swept something.
I mean, like, but hear me out, right?
I don't want to work 12 hours and have to come home and do everything. God dang.
And I'm not saying this is my personal belief. I'm just saying that in that situation, it would more than likely be a hell no. Reason being is because, like, for men, it's something about, like, yeah, it look clean if it's a team effort. But if it's like, I gotta be the one to clean and cook, it's like kind of demasculating. Like, not saying we not clean, you know, we can't cook, but it's just like.
But how can it be an expectation that when you worked all them hours and you provided for me to make sure that you're good, but it's not? If I traded roles with you, because now I'm the provider, then you should be trading roles with me too.
Theoretically, it sounds great. That sounds great, you know. But you know, most men we were raised to, hey, we got to provide for our family. So what you feel like is you're providing for, you know, the family. That's already a blow to us. Like, man, we can't even pay all the bills. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, to some of y'all.
To some. You know what I'm saying? And I'm generalizing it. I'm not saying it's everybody. There's always, you know, different perspectives. Then two, it's like, oh, now she want me to clean, cook, and do laundry. Now I'm the one folding the drawers.
So, but shouldn't someone want to know? Like, if I know my husband's been working like, I'm not doing, if my husband's working all day, he's providing, I'm not cooking for him and cleaning for him because I feel like it's obligation. I'm doing it because I know you've been working hard. I'm gonna make sure it's good here, so when you come home, it's
supposed to be your piece,
right?
And you know what? I understand that, you know, like, and we would want to do it because we love y'all so dearly, but at the same time, our pride is like, I'm not folding your drawers. I'm not doing it.
I don't care about nobody not folding my drawers. I just need, like, for me, if I was in that situation that you was in, I had something.
Well, okay, but
one out of the three things at least, and then I can get the other one, and then the third one is done together. So what you think?
Okay, and that's cool too. You know, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the teamwork thing. Feel me? I'm with it. But you just told me that the gender roles were flipped.
Right.
Completely.
That would be my assumption. Then it should.
Because we're going to clean one kitchen good one time. One time out the week, maybe two if we feeling nice. 3 because we just trying to do something. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? When it's 7 days in the week, at a point, we don't care how long you've been working, you're going to have to, sweep this kitchen.
So now would it be okay if in that situation, though, I'm like, all right, well, since I got to do home, too, I'm just going to let you pay all the bills. I don't care if that means you got to get another job.
That could be, that could work, too. But more,
well, we can be divorced.
I'm like, but more than likely, we just going to cut back on everything. Cut the lights.
I found us an apartment.
Don't cut the TV on because we ain't got cable. Can't use your phone either. We ain't got internet. Oh, by the way, throw that phone away. We went to Straight Talk. It's cheaper.
Okay, so I did have this conversation with a guy before, a friend of mine. He was a pastor, and he was talking about
godly wisdom and advice.
Well, I don't know. A man is a man, regardless of he's still a human. But he was talking about how the difference in a man taking care of a household by his means and a man who is struggling to take care of a household based on her means. Meaning, like, okay, it's my job to be the provider. So as a provider, it's my job to have a roof over your head, a way for you to eat, all that, electricity, all that, but not for you to have this big old house and this really nice car and this whatever. So as long as I can provide something. So how do you feel about that? First.
I think I just had an ADHD moment.
So if that means our house is doing good.
Okay. So what you're saying is the man. No, start over.
Okay. So you can't necessarily as long as I can provide something.
ADHD moment, which means I was listening. Yeah. Yeah.
So as long as he provides, right? Like I can provide a house, I can provide electricity, I can provide food. It may not necessarily live up to what you'd like it to be, which means it could be in the projects and pay $25 a month as long as I provide it. Right. But saying that now you have to provide up to her standard, that's where it's no longer necessary. And I feel 2 ways about it, but let me.
Oh, okay. First of all, the standard should be set at the beginning.
Well, Doc Rock said the standard
is up there, but not because it's just as long as you provide and you give me anything. No, that's unacceptable because then you're not even working out of excellence, and I can't. No, because that means you ain't even striving. You can go and sweep that up on the rug, baby.
Okay, so now how do you feel, before I move to you, how do you feel about women who have a man who can provide, but they want the big old, $500,000 house, Lexus?
Then they need the help. Help get what you want. Teamwork make the dream work. Right. If you know you want this expensive, lavish lifestyle, and you know how much that other person got coming in, don't be going in the negatives, trying to perpetrate. Yeah. Now that's some bull crap right there. Help it, make it happen.
Right. Okay, so Alex, the first scenario.
I need you to repeat the question.
Okay.
I had it,
So he had an ADHD moment too. ADHD moment. So in the situation where, he said that the guy that I was speaking to, he said that a man who provides, it should just be that they can provide something. Meaning, you have a roof, you have electricity, you have food. No matter where it's at, whether it's the trailer home or the projects for $25 a month, as long as it's being provided, that's still a provider, and you should be okay with that.
Okay, so I have a question. I have a counter question before I answer. Is the woman bringing in anything?
Well, we're talking about in a situation, and this is why I said pastor, because it was more of the Bible situation where the man is completely the provider. So the wife is the at-home wife. This is just
okay. Well, that makes it okay. Well, if she's an at-home wife and she's okay with that,
well, she's not okay with it. But this is what he's saying. He's saying that
even if she's not okay with it,
that should be enough.
Since it's provided, keep your mouth closed, basically.
Right.
Yeah, no,
that's not it.
And it came from a pastor.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not biblically sound either.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
Because
he needs some.
If you want to,
I don't know your name, but you ain't right.
Yeah, I'm like, if you want to get biblical with it, they like Ruth and Boaz, right? Ruth was working when Boaz found her. So I don't understand why he feels like she ain't supposed to be working and I'm supposed to be providing, and you accept what I provide for you. Now, it's totally different, if she's okay with that. Totally different. But I mean, that's just pure ignorance. Like, it's pure ignorance. And for him to feel that way is more issues than just, that's like pride and insecurity. Like, why? Because if you want to be technical about it, he fears that if she does go out into the industry or the market or, that she can potentially become the breadwinner. And there's a lot of men that cannot stand a high class, high ranking, high earning woman.
Mm-hmm.
So
for a couple different reasons.
Yeah. So he's, at a point he's like, oh yeah, I know you can get out here and thrive. I'm just going to put a little cap on you right here because I'm the man and I'm doing, I'm doing okay. We ain't got the best, we ain't got this, we ain't got that, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, so you should be okay with that. No.
And so what about in the sense of she is okay being the housewife and he's only, so when I say like projects, $25 a month, that's not all he can do. That's just all he's willing to do.
Yeah.
Should that be okay, or should she be able to say, all right, so because maybe it's a childcare thing. We got kids. It's cheaper for me to stay at home. Should she be able to say, I want you to? Can you actually work so we can? Because I'm thinking safety. Like if you're providing for me, then you also are providing safety.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying we gotta live in a mansion, but not, I just want to work at, this place, bare minimum. So would it be okay to say my expectations are higher than this, even though I'm staying at home?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the situation the man is in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that does matter. Because if they're in a situation where that's all that
they can do, but if you know that they're just being lazy, I mean, yeah.
Probably shouldn't be with them.
Well, that's one. But two, I mean, it's really hard to say because it's like, you want to be like, yeah, no, you can. But if you're there, you've accepted that because he just hasn't just started doing that. Yeah. So he's been doing it for a while. So it's like, if you get in there and you're like, oh, I'm with you for thick and thin, you know what I'm saying, the death do his part, and then you get in there and be like, oh, well, this it?
Well, what if she met the representative?
I get that. But it's
the representative shows
right.
up.
That's true.
And be longevity.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
on both sides, women and men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's true, right? So if she met the representative, right, then yes, right? But if she did not meet the representative and it was what it was from the jump,
yeah,
and you like, oh, now I want more.
it don't work like that.
Then it's not really fair. You know, it's
like
like
you knew this was what I was.
I was like, Now all of a sudden, you know, not all of a sudden you want to laugh. It's like this. I was gonna say, you know, because I was gonna say that. But, like, you know what I'm saying? But like now, all of a sudden, you have heightened expectations when I feel like I'm doing the best I can.
Mm-hmm. True.
And that can cause a conflict, but you know.
Some explosions.
Yes. Okay, so now let's move out of. And these are just opinions. Of course, none of us are currently in those situations. But I've actually been watching Modern Family. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Okay, so in Modern Family, there's two guys in a relationship, and one of the things that their parents are struggling with is like one of the guy's parents keeps treating his significant other like he's like the women in the relationship, and the other guy's parents keep treating the other guy like he's like the woman in the relationship. So, like, they go back and forth, like, well, I'm not the wife. I'm not the mom. Like, because they adopted a child, too. So, and I guess it's one of those conversations that we need to have someone in the LGBT community. But roles in that sense, there can't really be gender roles, right? I didn't even know you had your hand up. I was like,
no idea. I mean,
so, and I guess I only bring that up to say that it's possible to live without them.
I mean, I see where you're going with when you say like. Sorry, I'm not gonna talk anymore.
Oh my gosh!
I was in full stride about to be like, so I mean, and then you were like, so
I don't even know what I was going to say. I can't remember. I'm listening. Hold on, let me just flip this side up so you know I'm all ears. Come on.
What I say last time, he's strong-willed.
So, I get what you're saying, you know, the lack of gender roles where that would fit, because the same gender, or it could be the lack of gender, depending on how they identify.
Yeah.
So I get where you're going. But at a point, one of them got to choose, one of them got to pick. And they can switch and swap if they want to, you know, like.
So let me ask you, they just have to bring somebody in that they trust. Because if it's two males, I don't know if they got a son or a daughter. They need to bring somebody in, because there's some stuff that you just, like I said earlier, they can't.
But that
if
also,
they two males, how they gonna teach about cycles?
But that also depends.
How they gonna teach about menstrual cycles?
I agree with you, but they may not agree with you. You know, and it's not really about what you think at that moment. It's really about.
But I'm just saying, they just need to bring somebody in to know.
Well, and I'm sure there's other influences, like, because they have mothers.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
what
have
I'm saying.
Sisters.
Somebody that they trust,
you
know, come in. So that's probably maybe how they'll handle it.
So let me ask this: in the male and female,
I'm still ask when they come on.
Yeah. I have a couple of questions too. In the male and female, okay, cool. In the male and female relationship, do you? I'm gonna try to pretend like I didn't forget what I was gonna say, because I know it's gonna come back, because I did forget what I was gonna say. So when two people work together, we're saying that both work equally as hard. Let's say they bring in close to the same amount of money, so it's not a matter of somebody making more. Mm-hmm. Do we now say that the household stuff is split? Like, because I know you said earlier, like, you only gonna clean so many dishes. Or does it still, like, since I have to now help provide for the household, am I still having to keep?
So, I mean, you know, I'm sorry, did you want to speak?
I'm listening.
I mean, you know, so theoretically, I like to say theoretically, because in theory, everything's perfect. I'm minding that.
Let me listen.
In theory, you know, that it would be, it would split right down the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You clean on Monday, I clean on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You get the extra day because it's 7 days a week. But it's
Wait.
on the 7th.
So we switched the 7th.
Yeah, alternate. You know what I'm saying? You get the 7th date one week, I get the 7th date another week.
So now let's talk typically.
Typically, that's great. You know what I'm saying? But practically, majority men, they just don't like to do chores. They don't like to do it. We
don't either.
I get it. I understand.
We don't either.
I understand. I do understand that. You know what I'm saying? But and I think sometimes it's really about like how you're raised too. Like, so I feel like men who are majority raised by their mother are more willing to be like, teamwork is a dream work. But your dad was there, baby. He like, yo, look, listen, Carol, we gonna clean the dishes. You gonna clean the dishes. And me and John out here, we gonna mow the lawn. You feel me? And so, John is always consistently getting up on Saturdays mowing the lawn. You know what I'm saying? Taking out the trash and doing handyman stuff around the house. When you be like, yeah, so I think we do a teamwork thing and wash the dishes. You gonna be like, wash dishes? I'm gonna go cut this grass.
That's not fair because dishes is every day all year.
I get that.
Grass.
I'm not saying
one season.
I'm not saying it's fair.
And it goes. Would it be the grass be dying and stuff dormant?
I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying the mentality that they're gonna have is like, when the grass can't be cut. Well, I know, I need do a little paint touch up. So you can. You know what I'm saying? Do the laundry.
First of all, half these folks don't even know how to do this nowadays.
Or take forever to do it. And it's just like, I'm tired of waiting. I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah,
now, question. Now, what if you date somebody, and I was dating somebody who didn't know how to fix stuff like cars and stuff like that. So, like, most of the stuff I would figure out. And so, should he still not have to? I almost feel like, in that sense, we're talking about role switching again.
I see where you're going. And again, theoretically, that's the word for that.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you can even put it on the screen. Put it on the screen, like theoretically. There you go. That's the editing point. But theoretically, yeah, you are switching roles, a little bit. But if I don't know how to change the oil, and I take your car to the mechanic to get the oil changed.
You paying for it too, though.
Well, it depends because we got joint account. This ain't just your car. That's just my car. It's our car. So we you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna do it today, but tomorrow it's your turn.
So what about driving? Like the male always drives.
Oh yeah. That's.
I don't like to drive.
Now, but
hold on. Theoretically.
I wasn't gonna say theoretically. See there? See? You can't take my word and spice it.
We on our own.
Right.
Theoretically. On our own theory.
That's fine. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the man's supposed to drive all the time, right? But let me tell you something. We get on a road trip and it's a long time. You best believe you get into the car and whipping it down I-10, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna be asleep. You feel me?
We agreed. You don't agree to drive? Ain't nobody finna drive me half sleep, baby.
No. Cool, all right.
No, I'm trying to get there.
I done had time. I done sat and
get
there. Your eyes are closing. Wake up. Talk to me.
Then guess what?
Gonna die.
But then guess what?
He don't like me to drive though. He won't let me.
That's his problem.
Sometimes I will be willing to.
Hey, look.
He said,
let me
tell you why.
I can do the first half.
Let me tell you why he don't like me to drive. Because I'll be in the driver's seat because he's so big. It's generally we take a little car when we drive car. He sits in the thing and I put my hand on his leg. He said, "You making me feel like the woman."
What?
Hey, look, listen.
Oh, you like, yeah.
I mean, listen. It don't matter when you sleep. Like, look, you got the I'm to sleep. I'm gonna grab the pillow like y'all do. Have a bonnet on, baby. Boom, you feel me? Don't talk to me. You just the radio. You drive your thing. Boom, I'm going to sleep. And when I wake up, I may consider it.
I can't even sleep when he drives. I just don't trust it. Because I feel like if I sleep, he's going to get sleepy. Even if he's wide awake, if I fall asleep, he's going to get sleepy.
Absolutely. You know why? Because y'all be snoring hard. You know what I'm saying? That's a great question. I got a question, right? how do you expect for y'all to be in the passenger seat snoring hard and then get up and be like, y'all all right? No, we're not all right. We hear you over here sleeping comfortably, and we got to be up attentive. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you just said you'd be asleep while we would be driving.
Absolutely, because I feel like that's fair. You feel me? You ain't just going to be snoring, and then, I got to be
driving
attentive.
over the little thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, did I wake you?
Did y'all ever see that video where that man was driving? He was the old man. I guess it was his dad driving, and he was asleep. And he said, "Yeah." Then he said, "Boom, boom." We hit something, and he was like nothing happened. And he said, "Get off of that!"
Oh yeah, I did. Was that a commercial?
No, it was
a show.
No, it was like a video.
He tried to he fell asleep driving. That's what it was.
And he was.
He tried to make it like
it was like the 18-wheeler, trying to make it go off the road or something like that. It was funny.
That's what we gotta do.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. We're over an hour. We didn't make it this time. So y'all know we've been working hard, especially since next season we're going to be doing some live shows. So we have to work on making sure that we stay under an hour. So minus some of our commercial spots, hopefully we're at an hour. But I want to have Alex shout out one more time your website and social media so they know where to follow you at.
My website is www.alexdbanks.com. Instagram, Alex D. Banks. Facebook, Alex D. Banks. You get the rest of it. Twitter, all that good stuff.
All of it.
All of it. We ran across the board. So, yeah.
So it was a joy having Alex here. Of course, we're gonna have to have him back because this is a hilarious episode.
Thank you so much.
Little untraditional.
I'm glad that I could have my special guest join me on the appearance of Talk Uncensored. It's been greatly enjoyed.
It was an honor.
So make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, Talk Uncensored Podcast. You can now visit us online. It's arichinnovations.com/Talk Uncensored. And we are actually looking for guests for next season, and we're going to do a live audience. So we are now taking applications for invites. So thank you guys for tuning in for yet another episode of Talk Uncensored, and we'll see you next time.